Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video. We're doing JMA Friday today, so we're having a look at weather for the coming month from a Japanese and CFS V2 models. This takes us into the start of September, so we'll be going through to the end of the summer and into the start of autumn with this update. Of course, it's meteorologically questionable because you can get very warm, if not hot temperatures in September, particularly the first part of September, but it's useful when you come to deal with the statistics, have a defined period, and summer is defined as the 1st of June to the 31st of August, when autumn is defined as the 1st of September to the 30th of November. So we're going into the start of autumn with this particular update. Be very interesting to see what the models are showing. But before I get on with that, just to quickly say about the ads, there's links to articles on all the pages at gadgetsurfers.com. Have a browse of widgets, any articles that you're interested in, please click through. You have to go off and read the article. Thanks very much for doing that. The video ads on most pages, they open out with the content and then they'll close back up again when you've watched it. It's helping to pay for Gadgetsurfers, so thanks very much for getting involved and thanks for doing that. I'm using a new operating system today. I've gone through to Windows 10, so hoping everything's going to go straightforward with this recording and that there's no problems. So let's start off with the 500 millibar height anomaly charts from the JMA model, broken down into weekly periods. The first week period will be the week that we're currently in, going from the 7th to the 14th of August. As you know, blue extrapolates to low pressure and yellow, orange and red are extrapolating to high pressure. So what we see is the pattern we've had very consistently through the summer, quite a deep trough of low pressure up to the north and the west of the country, around Greenland and Iceland, extending down into the middle part of the Atlantic, and then this ridge across eastern parts of Europe, southeast parts of Europe. It is a little bit further north it has been through much of the summer, so it's encompassing Scandinavia. They've had a very poor summer across Scandinavia up to this point, but I think this month could be a bit warmer and drier for them. But broadly it's the same sort of pattern for us, with quite a strong Atlantic for the time of year. So the jet stream is going through rather like that. It means that again for the north and the west of the country we get the most unsettled conditions. The south and the east get the driest conditions with that one, very much as we've had it through the summer so far. Now what we see for the next week period, and this one takes us from the 14th to the 21st of August, is that the trough, if anything, is being kept at bay out to the west, to the southwest of the country. This ridge to the east is strengthening and possibly becoming influential here, and we could be drawing up some warmer air from the south, because the jet stream would be going rather like that, I would think. And what this could do is it could start to push the winds up from the south in that sort of direction. So I think that middle part of August on this particular update of the Japanese model does hold the prospect of something warmer and maybe a little bit thundery out to the west as well, bringing up those southerly winds. And then the final 2 week period, going from the 21st of August through to the 4th of September, so into the start of autumn, it's always a little bit difficult to decipher what model is showing for this particular period, because the signals are always weaker. But the trough looks like it's getting shoved off up to the north, becoming stuck around Greenland and Iceland, losing it through the Atlantic. There is some sort of ridge to the east as well. We are sort of in a no man's land where there's not a great deal going on, but I think what could be happening there, reading between the lines, is that we may be getting a build of pressure as the jet stream being pushed up to the north. So at the end of August into the start of September, it could be high pressure taking over, perhaps giving the most universally sort of dry spell that we've had of the summer as we start autumn. That could bring maybe even parts of Scotland into drier conditions. So it's looking at the mid-latitude view, that's the Northern Hemisphere view, just looking at the mid-latitude view, and we see the temperature precipitation, how this stacks up. So the first week period, the week that we're currently in, these are day 3 to 9, going from the 7th through to the 14th of the month. We find the temperature anomaly is coming out cooler than average. Again, most unsettled and cool up in the north. I think that's probably a bit pessimistic for the south and southeast. Should be a little bit warmer than average down there, to be honest. And in terms of the rainfall, well, that's looks plausible enough, because the north and west gets slightly wetter than average conditions, whereas you probably can't make it out that the east and southeast is actually coming out a little bit drier than average through that first weekly period. The next weekly period, this is when the low pressure getting sort of stuck out to the west. The temperature anomaly is still very disappointing, and the JMA has been showing this. It's been showing it all summer actually. We know it's had some warmer conditions, but it's not been a warm summer by any means. But it is showing the temperature anomaly to be coming out cooler than average once again. Again, I think with hints of southerly flows, that's probably pessimistic, and I think it's likely to be a little bit warmer than that is showing. And for the rainfall anomaly, the precipitation anomaly, again, we're coming out. This time a little bit drier than average across the whole of the country, so it does turn a bit drier, but no particular sign of the temperatures picking up through that middle part of August. And then finally into the final 2-week period, remember this is taking us to the end of August, start of September. It's all gone a little bit odd in terms of 500 millibar heights, but the temperature anomaly again comes out cooler than average. So a very cool month coming up if the JMA is right, if we take these at face value. I do think they're on the pessimistic side in terms of the temperature forecast for the coming month. In terms of the rainfall forecast, it is going drier than average again across the whole of the country. So quite a dryish spell for the second half of August and lasting into the start of September. Temperatures remaining very cool though from the model, but again I do think that is a little bit on the pessimistic side, and I would expect, particularly for the south-southeast, it should be a bit warmer than this is showing. Right, that's the JMA. This is CFS V2. Again, these are 500 millibar heights for the coming month. The first week period goes from the 6th to the 12th of August. And what we find for this one is that we've got this ridge to the east and southeast of the country, with a trough of low pressure up to the north and the northwest. The jet stream again going rather like that. So very similar actually to what the JMA is showing for the coming week, with the most unsettled conditions and coolest conditions like to be up in the north and west. The driest, warmest, but not totally dry and warm conditions will be down in the south-southeast. But again, the south-southeast, it has been throughout the whole summer, really hogs the best of the warm and dry weather, whereas Scotland and Northern Ireland continues to look very poor. And then the next week period, and again, this is very much in line with what the JMA is showing, develops this ridge more to the east of the country and pushes the trough, places it further out to the west in the Atlantic. So the flow with that will be going rather like that. And I do think we will be having the chance, at least, of bringing up some air off the continent, bringing up warmer air through that middle part of August the 13th to the 19th. I could envisage that we're dragging the air from the south, and that should turn things warmer. Whether the temperature anomaly will show that, we'll have a look at it in a moment. The next week period, going from the 20th to the 26th of August, again what we have for this one is that the high pressure is still fairly strong to the east of the country. Signs of troughiness down to the southwest. So this could be a transitional period where it's turning more unsettled. The flows becoming more off the Atlantic, maybe thundery as well, because you see the idea is that we're still potentially bringing up the air from the south. So I could imagine that there would be the risk as this trough of low pressure starts to move in off the Atlantic. I would imagine there is the chance that there could be some thundery weather during that period. And then we go through to the last weekly period, and this takes us to the very end of August, into the start of September, going from the 27th of August through to the 2nd of September. And then it looks like it's definitively turning unsettled then. The trough is coming back and moving into the country as the ridge is being pushed down into the southeast of Europe. So this is the jet stream coming back, and almost certainly, if that came off, turning it more unsettled with rain moving in off the Atlantic, and probably cooler as well. So just have a quick look and see how the temperatures stack up with this. Don't expect to see the temperatures responding to those sort of southerly hints through the middle part of the month. The temperature anomaly for the first weekly period is coming out cooler than average in those green colours, significantly cooler than average there. The next weekly period is a little bit better, but not great. It's cooler than average up in the north, mainly hinting at near normal down in the south. But you see that most of the warmth, most of the heat is here across central and eastern parts of Europe and backing into western parts of Russia. Nevertheless, that's a slight improvement in the temperatures through the middle part of the month. The next weekly period going from the 20th through to 26th, again very similar, cooler than average up in the north, near normal down in the south. Again, notice how hot it is for most central and eastern parts of Europe. I think these are pessimistic, particularly for England and Wales. On the patterns that they're showing, I think it should well be warmer than this is indicating through the middle part of August. It'll be very interesting to see how this plays out, but I do think, particularly for England and Wales, these cool temperatures are on the pessimistic side. And then as we go through to the final week period, of course, this is where the Atlantic is coming back, so then the temperature anomaly is going cooler than average across the whole of the country, and that does make sense with the Atlantic coming back. Finally, having a look at the precipitation, the coming weekly period shows that it's a little bit drier than average across most parts of the country, but perhaps been on the wet side in the north and west. The next week period actually turns wetter to the north and west, so this could imply that there is at the very least risk of thunderstorms out in the west of the country as we're trying to pull in the air from the south. That may explain why the temperatures anomalies are a bit modest. If there's quite a bit of cloud and rain around, then temperatures will be suppressed, of course, but it's mainly for the north and the west. The next week period, going from the 20th through to 26th, near normal precipitation, really, although you probably can't make this out, but interestingly, down to the south, actually, it's ever so slightly wetter than average, so again, probably implying the risk of thunderstorms, maybe longer spells of thundery rain coming up from the south. That would knock the temperatures back, so that perhaps explains why, despite the pattern being one that should be conducive to producing quite a bit of warm weather, it's perhaps a bit cooler than you'd expect. And then the next weekly period is near normal, with the rainfall going to the end of August and start of September. In fact, maybe going a little bit wetter than average down to the south once again. I would expect with the Atlantic coming back, that would be a little bit wetter than that is showing. Sometimes these precipitation anomalies particularly don't really make sense in terms of the patterns, to be honest. But I think what we're looking for most of August is that we're going to try and build some pressure to the east, and we're going to try to build up some warmth from the south. That's how I would interpret these charts through the middle part of August particularly. So don't be surprised to get some warmer conditions down in the south at times. Probably very unstable and a lot of thundery rain, thunderstorms around at times. And then as we go through to the latter stages of August into the start of September, we may see the Atlantic coming back. So that's how it's looking this week. We'll do the long range look ahead of the coming month next week, of course, on Friday, as we always do. Tomorrow it's a week ahead broadcast, so come back for that. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.